Hello everybody and welcome to another Flutter video tutorial. In this video I just created a new series, CRUD operations in Flutter. So how we can read the data from the API or from the server, how we can delete the data, how we can create the data, and how we can edit our data from our Flutter app. In this part we are going to cover the get data or read data from our API. So before going to get our data from API, let me show you how I just created our endpoint. I just make an endpoint on mock API. It's a website. You can visit this mock API.io. Then you can create your own project and give it a name. I just gave this name. You can even edit from here. You can give a name, and you can give a prefix. It is optional. If you want, you can give it anything you want. Then you can create this. It will give you the endpoint. As you can see here, this one is belong to me, so you can create your own, and then you can create a new resource here. It means your data. As you can see, I created a question which has some data. Let's see the data. This is the JSON data which it returned to me, this URL, and I can edit my own data as well. As you can see, I have this ID, name, and for options are there A, B, C, option D. They have the types, and as you can see, they guide us well. So if you come down here in endpoint portion, you can see that we have the get. So you can turn on or off the get question. So this tutorial is going to get the data, that's why we should turn it on. So others, for now, we can turn them on or off. It depends on us. So when we reach on them, we will turn them on. So as you now can create your endpoint on mock API, then get your data. So let's go to our Android Studio, and as you can see, I just created a fresh project, get data, and it will give me this code, but I don't need them. I can create my own. So we will have a stateful widget, STF. When you type STF, it will give you the whole method or class you want, and name it my app. Okay, for now it return only a container, and let's go our lib folder and create a few files that we can get our data from our URL or from our endpoint. Let's right click and new, create dart file, name it API.dart. So here we can create a class, name it API constants. So inside this we will put our URL or endpoint that we bring that from the mock API. So I'm going to create a static API endpoint. Then I'm going to put our endpoint inside this endpoint. So let's go and copy this endpoint from here and paste it here. So let's put a string also here. that its type should be string. As we are using the MVC, so let's create our model also. Model the dart, and also we need to create another file, name it services.dart. So let's go and create our model. So inside our model we should create a class and name it question model, questions model. So our model contains what our backend contains. Let's go and see what our backend has. So as we can click in data, as you can see we have this JSON, and it has the name or the question. You can put, I just put a name here, you can put question. So it has 4 options, so we can create them. So let's go back. All are string, so string type, and number 1 is the name, and string option A, B, C you can create. I'm going to give it OPTA and going to copy paste a few times and change the name OPTB and OPTC, and the other one OPTD. So now we are going to create its constructor. We can right click and generate it, and click the constructor and select all our variables, and it will create the constructor for us. We can also put our ID if we want to print our ID. So let's just give it string ID and bring the constructor also. Let's put a comma here, and this dot ID. So let's put a bracket here, a curly bracket at the end of them, and let's make them required. Also the ID required. So I can bring them down so now it looks better. This is our constructor, and next what should we do? So next we are going to create our factory method. Factory question model dot from JSON. Then we will have a map of type string dynamic, then JSON here. Okay, and let's just remove this dot also because there's no need of that. So the key value pair here, the first one is ID JSON with the capital and square bracket. The name which we have in our backend, it must match with this string which we will put here. So remember to put the exact thing. And the second one will be the name, JSON name, because we have name there. And the third one will be the options. So the options here, the OPTA, the value will be JSON remember it is option A there. Let's see. As you can see, we have the option A, B, C, D. So we should do the exact to not get any error. So I created and I copy paste a few times to just change the OPT names, OPTB and OPTC and the OPTD. And this one, then the key is also B, C and D. So as you can see, we have error here because we should return a question, and this all will be the parameters. So we remove the curly bracket and put a round bracket here, and at the end also to. Okay, what's wrong? Okay, I just put I should put comma here instead of this semicolon. And then the last one we don't need if we don't have any other. So our factory method is also created. Let's create a list that when we use this data from server, so we need to decode them and use them to our app. So as I just created that list for you, I'm going to paste it here. As you can see, we have the list which type is generic question model and question from JSON, and we use the JSON decoder to decode our JSON and give us the data. So the model is completed. Now we need to go our service and create our service. In here also we need to create our API service class. API service, we name it. Inside this class we are going to create a feature type of list, type of question model which we have created, and then the name get all data, then this method should be async, and inside this we are going to create a final variable, name it URL, final string URL is equal to URI.parse. So what we are going to parse is our URL which we have here, our API constants, and this is the variable or endpoint we are going to parse it. So let's go to here and put the API constant dot endpoint. So this is our endpoint. So the error is because the URI cannot store in a string. We can name it var. Okay, now the error has gone from here. So now we need to check if our endpoint is connected to our server. In here I'm going to use the HTTP package and download that from the terminal. You can go to your terminal and type Flutter pub add HTTP. Then it will add the HTTP package to your pub/spec YAML file here. You can go and check it, double click, and we can find it right there. You can see that is the HTTP package. If you want to bring another way is to go pub.dev website and search the name of this package HTTP, and you can copy and paste that here and click on that pub-get to download the package for you. So now we have this package. How we can use it? So we are going to create another variable here and name it response is equal to, we are going to use the HTTP here. So HTTP dot get method. So now we don't have the HTTP imported here. Let's just bring them at the top here. And now HTTP package and we use it as HTTP, and now the error has gone. So next we are going to check if we have connection or the status code is 200. So now we can check response which we created dot status code is equal to 200. As you know, 200 is the OK. Then when we are using this async, we should put here await. So if it is 200, it means OK. Then it will give this JSON variable response body. Then it will return this question from JSON. And let's put our this process inside the try catch if we get any error. So we can put a try catch it here, and we are going to log the e.toString and a semicolon. Okay, let's import the library. So what's the problem with this? We just put the wait keyword in wrong place. We need to put it in front of our HTTP wait. Then this problem is also solved, and this is our service API, so it is finished. As well, I put a question mark right here. So now our endpoint and our model is created, so the only thing is remaining to show our data to user. So instead of this container, let's create an app bar by calling the material app package and home scaffold. Inside the scaffold we can create app bar, and title we can give it text, get data from API. So after that, let's go to our body. Inside the body we can create a visibility widget. We can put some property which has a child, can return a list view dot builder to show our data. List view dot builder, and as you know, list view builder take a builder and account. It takes a context and index, and then we can return here a card view or something we want. A card view that a card that has child, a list style, and the list style also has the title, and we can put text. For now we don't have our data, so I'm just put some text here, and we can put a leading here. Inside leading, as we work on this before, we can put some icon here, dot icons dot, for example, face icon. For now we don't have the data, that's why I put this text. So next we need to inject our services to use and bring our data here through that. So let's go here. We can inject our service here like this. You can put the service, the name of your class, and then you give a name, and then again the name. And also you need to import its library, which it is inside this service.dart file. we need to import that. After that we can use it. So because our data is coming as a list, so we are going to create a list of question model, and name it list question array. As you know, we have init state method, we can call it here. So as you can type it here, and now inside this we're going to call a method which will be the get data. This get data method can be created here, get data, and inside this we need to bring our list here, list question, and then we can put it equal and service API dot get all data, which is inside get all the data. As you know, it should be async, and await here. And the error has gone. So before put a semicolon here, before we are going further, let's just use some property of our visibility widget. It has a visible property which takes a boolean. So let's create a boolean variable here, is loading. So we are going to check if until our data is coming from server, we are going to show our circular process bar. So is loading is equal to true here. So we can go to here, then we can call is loading here, is loading. And also it has another property which is replacement. We can set its child circular process indicator and put it in a center widget to show it in the center of our screen. So let's remove one of them, and then we go to here inside this get data method, and we have to change its state, the state of our is loading. So first our state should be false. When it get the data, it will be true, then the indicator will be dismissed. And next we are going to give the property which is count property, item count, and this will be the count of our items inside of our server. So we are going to give it our list question, dot length, and it take the list question dot length, and we put a question mark right here, and then we are going to show our data here. And instead of this, we can pause the list question which we have right there, then the index of our data, text the index, the index. After we put a dot here, we will get all of our data which we did before in our model. So if we need the ID or name or any options, so we can select. I am going to put the name here and put an exclamation mark right there, and then it's almost done. Let's put a semicolon here. Actually it is done, nothing else are remaining. So let's test our app. I hope it gives no error. So for the first time it takes some time to load. As you can see the progress bar here, and also the title we have here, get data from API. So it is not getting the data. There might be some problem. Let me see. So guys, I found the error. It was just because of this URL. I just copied the wrong one, I think, and now it is working with this URL. But some other changes I did here in the main, I just remove one extra bracket which I used there, and also there is some change I did in this model. The JSON we write first time, it was capital letter, and I changed them in the small JSON, so nothing else changed. And then you can see that our data is loading the same data which we have in our API. We can see here. So now I can go down. Here is the data. We have 16 data, and I load the name. As you can see, we have 16 data here and the name, and we can scroll through this list view. Okay guys, thank you for watching till the end of this video, and I hope you can now get the data from the URL endpoint from your server using HTTP request. And in the next video we are going to work on other CRUD operation, like we did the get. We will do, maybe we work on delete part or edit part. So see you guys on the next video.